All This Can Happen is a film I made with the film director David Hinton in 2012. I'm a choreographer. I'd never made a film before. Choreography to me is about the human frame, the human body, expressing something normally unseen or unthought of in the audience's eyes. And to me, film was going to be a way in which I could explore that in greater depth. We fairly quickly went to the earliest records of film and photographs of movement. And an artist-scientist called Jules-Etienne Méret was, from a scientific perspective, looking at somebody walking. And there might be 13 frames of still action that could reveal to us the nuances in walking. This idea of single frames energized David and I a great deal. Could we give value to a single frame instead of a whole series of actions? So choreographically, I wondered whether I could put single frames up on a big screen, and that each frame would reveal a particular moment in an action, or a particular moment even in an expression. And by doing that, we would tell stories of human behavior and human activity in a way I'd never done before. In order to create a thread between all of these separate images, we found a novella called The Walk by the Swiss writer Robert Walser, written in 1917. And in that walk, his text also draws our attention to the shifting moments in expression and idea and imagination as he walks through a day, through a city and into the countryside at night.
Walk was my answer. I definitely must, to maintain contact with the living world.
We finished the film and put it out in the world, and of course are very excited to hear people's perceptions of it, given that it's a choreographer and a film director at work together. And we've received many different feedbacks from it, which are also a learning curve for me, because it has given me strength that my choreographic skills go further than I thought.
I have to report that one fine morning, as the desire to take a walk came over me, I put my hat on my head, left my writing room, or room of phantoms, and ran down the stairs to hurry out into the street.
From the very beginning of the film, as soon as you decide to cut multiple images into each frame, you're creating an ongoing live archive of all the lives, images, places, objects and encounters that you have sourced. And it seems to me that the archive idea is really central, of course, not just to the making of the work, but a way of thinking about it. Within that word, archive, there are two crucial elements. The idea of the ark, a form, a vessel that carries us over difficult terrain, difficult waters to a place of sanctuary and refuge and safety, and the idea of a hive where many people, many elements come together in a form of collective labour. If we take the idea of an archive as being a form of the past, experienced in the present, and given in that present tense experience to the future, then we see that idea of process becoming alive. It's not about an academic assembly or gathering or sorting of images. It's actually about a lesson for living. And that's the crucial thing about All This Can Happen, it seems to me, is that the filmic and choreographic impulses that led to the making absolutely and intentionally demonstrate themselves in thinking about what it means to be alive. All This Can Happen, of course, is a great call to fully attentive encounter with reality as we find it, but also with the possibility of that reality. Hence, the idea that all this can happen. And of course, the idea of things happening in the past, the present and the future, the idea that we live kind of coterminous with all these states of reality in our own bodies, in our memories, in the relationships we have with family, individuals and larger communities and social structures, is exactly about what it means to be fully alive in the world as we find it. We are active agents in it. We have an effect, an imperative even to think about the possibilities of our reality. Of course, we are also constrained and conflicted and repressed in other ways by larger structures. But the great joyous hymn of the film is to life as it can fully be expressed and considered and made possible in imagination, in creative expression, and finally in opening the door and stepping out in the great walk of life.